Hi folks, I've been here. It's an Antifa Joe Spell for September 8th, 2021. So this is a spell using Joe Biden bowl. A bowl picked to represent Joe Biden. And I'm bringing along a blue gnome for this one. September 8th, the news that I've heard today is that the Taliban have been defeated in Panjshir province. The capital of Panjshir has been retaken from the Taliban. By Afghan resistance army. Now, the Taliban had just announced about an hour ago that they'd captured Panjshir, the last part of Afghanistan that they didn't previously have. And then I saw that report on CGTN, but while they were talking about it, they had another report that it had been retaken by the Afghan resistance, and that they were still fighting and probably will end up fighting to defeat the Taliban altogether. I've speculated from the beginning that maybe allowing the Taliban to take over the country so quickly was more of a trick or a trap to draw them out of the mountains to where they could be defeated. But, you know, a very hectic and messy situation that was mostly set up by Trump, so it could very well be that for the most part they're established to take over the country. Now, when I do these Antifa spells, and it's for Joe Biden, I am focusing on getting the fascism out of Joe Biden. Any lingering fascism that he has, or has to deal with from the previous administration, which Trump was entirely fascist. But the idea is not that it's just Joe Biden, it's all of it. It's Biden America. And while it's nice to not have constant news about what the president's doing, especially when what the president is doing is kicking the crap out of democracy and people's rights, it would be nice to feel like Biden was, kicking some fascism out of America faster. And, to whatever degree he is good. But we want more. And this is why when I say it's about Biden America, I don't have anything particular to say about what he's been doing right now. I do have something to say about the media and how the media has been acting like, the Taliban's in control and, just a matter of respecting them or something like that, and, cajoling them to doing better. And I don't think that's necessarily true, because again, I've heard these reports from CGTN, the Chinese YouTube channel, Chinese news, about resistance. And just the fact that I didn't hear about those reports at all in American news was concerning. Like, are they trying to, butter up the Taliban or soften the image of the Taliban? And one reason they would be doing that, American media would be doing that, is because it appeals to Trumpers. Because if you've noticed, Trumpers seem to really cheer on the Taliban. They're really happy when the Taliban wins and the American military loses, now that Joe Biden's in power, which shows that all they really care about is white supremacy. They don't care about soldiers or the military or whatever. They just care about, protecting their kind of evil. And it's time for that evil to end. And we don't really need the military anymore anyway. Or as I've said, we can repurpose the military to green energy conversion and rescue squad. And we just don't need to be fighting. But apparently they do need to be fighting, or will be fighting, in Afghanistan to reclaim the country from what Trump and neocons set up, Nazis set up, to be giving it to the Taliban. I mean, they did plan it that way. So you have to clean up that mess. But you also, the best way to clean it up is to actually root out the cause of it. And the cause of it is, bad situations in Afghanistan that make the Taliban able to recruit. But also the cause of it is, Putin and Trump organizing this stuff. And when you get down to those, because it wasn't that the soldiers of Afghanistan didn't have the will to fight. No one ever commanded them to fight. The commanders all left. The leaders all left or abandoned or made deals or whatever. besides the one, I don't even know his name, but the former vice president, who is, I guess, now the president, because he's the only one who stuck around, who's calling for the revolution against the Taliban. But you don't hear about that on American media. You only hear about it from the Chinese CGT, and it's the only place I've heard about it. So when I say this is about cleansing the fascism out of Biden's America, and I want to focus on the media, I don't like them going easy on the Taliban. I can understand it if it's part of the plan to like keep things calm while you're getting the rest of the Americans out. But I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, if they're just lying to people. But I mean, all around, it seems like even though they have cut off all internet access to Panjshir, the Taliban has, so you can't really get information out of there. You know, there would be some way of letting people know that, you know, the world is behind them. But I guess it really comes down to what they can do on the ground. And that's one reason I wouldn't believe the Taliban that they've controlled Panjshir. I would believe the counter reports that the new insurgency is in control because they've cut off the internet. You know, if the Taliban, if the ruling government or power or whatever there was in control, they would be able to turn the internet back on and show that. But no, there's complete blockage there. So we need to do what we can in the absence of being able to get information to try to share the information that we do have and try to catch people up, because they're not necessarily doing that, and that's fascists trying to protect fascists. So let's stop them by sharing information, sharing the truth, and thank you for joining this spell. See you soon. I'll probably do some more. It's not done.